Today, we're going to create an outline for our first app. The first thing you're going to do is open a new Google Slideshow. Once you get in, you can close the Themes menu, and we're going to change the name. And we're just going to call this one App Outline. Now, in order for our app to look correct on a screen like a phone or a tablet, we're going to go to File, and we're going to go all the way down to Page Setup. So File, Page Setup. On Page Setup, we're going to look for where it says Widescreen, and we're going to go down to Custom. For our custom size, we're going to make it 8.5 in the first box, 11 in the second box, and click Apply. And that is going to change our slide to portrait style, which will show up much nicer on a phone or tablet. Now, we are ready to begin creating our outline. Our first slide is our splash screen. This is kind of that first introduction screen. This is where you'll probably have the name of your app. So I'm just going to click, and I'm going to call this Awesome Slams App. Then I'm going to click down here for the subtitle, and I'm going to say, press the button to begin. So when people come to our splash screen here, they're going to see the name of the app, and we're going to give them some directions to press the button to begin. The next thing we need is to add our button. I'm going to come up here to my Shapes menu, and I'm going to choose a shape for my button. You can choose any shape you want. I'm going to go with just a circular shape. I'm going to draw out my button. I can use the red lines as I move it to center it. And if I don't like the color, I can look for my paint bucket up here and choose a different color for it. I'm going to go with purple. Now we're going to come back and add more details to this later. So don't worry about your background. Don't get too picky over your button colors, because as I said, we will come back and do some more with these later as we go further into making the app. So this is our first screen, our splash screen. And when they press the button, we want them to go to the main menu screen. So to make my main menu screen, I'm going to come over here to my plus button, but I'm not going to click the plus. I'm going to click the little triangle button next to it. This gives me all of my layouts, and I'm going to scroll down until I get the one that says Title Only. This has a title at the top, and it's blank underneath. It's really important that we get this one because it's going to make linking things up much easier when we get to later steps. So now I have my new slide. This one is going to be called Main Menu. And now I'm going to begin putting in the buttons on my main menu. Again, keep it simple because this is just our outline, and we will add more detail and color to it later. So again, I'm coming up to Shapes. I'm going to decide what shape I want for my button this time. I think this time I'll go with my rounded rectangle. And I'm going to make my first button. Again, I can come up to my paint bucket and choose a color. This time I think I'm going to go with orange. And then once I have my first button, I can go ahead and copy and paste or duplicate it to make more. I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to need 5 buttons. So I need one for my map, one for the About the School page, one for citations, and 2 at least for the pages of your choice. So I'm just going to make sure this is selected, and I'm going to do Control D to duplicate and move my other button over. Control D to duplicate again, line up my next button, and I'm just going to keep Control D and lining up my buttons. And then since I have an odd number, I'm just going to put this one down here in the middle. Now what we're going to do later is go back in and add images to these buttons. So to label my buttons, I'm going to come up here to text box, and I'm just going to draw a text box underneath my first button. This one is going to be school map. Again, I can make adjustments to it. I'm going to center that so it looks a little better, maybe make the writing a little bigger. I think I want a different font for this. I like that one. That looks pretty good. Okay. So once I'm happy with it, again, I'm just going to select the box. Make sure you don't have a blinking line. You want to click on just the text box and Control D to duplicate again. Then you can move this text box over, double click, erase what's in there, and type your next menu item. This one is about school. I have my blinking line, so I'm going to click off and then click on again and make sure I click on that blue line to get rid of my blinking line. Control D to duplicate. Drag it down, Control D to duplicate. Move this one over. Control D to duplicate, move this one over. And now I can go back in and edit the rest. So this one is going to be one of your choice. So I think for mine, this is going to be teachers. And this one I think will be mini courses. Yours will probably be different depending on what you choose to do for your 2 extra school pages. For the last one, this is going to be our citations. So now I have my main menu finished up. I'm going to come up here again to the triangle next to plus. I'm going to get another title only. And for my title, this is going to be my first page, which is the school map. Now on this one, we only need to make one small change. We're not going to fill in the map or anything like that yet. But what we do want is a button that will take them back to the main menu. So I'm going to come up to my little shapes menu, choose a shape for my button. I'm going to go to my arrows and I'm going to use a back arrow shape for this. You can use any shape you want. And I like the back arrow because I can just double click on it and put main menu. And I'm just going to go ahead and make that bold so it stands out a little bit. If you want to change the color of your button, again, that's fine. You don't have to. And so now I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to repeat this process for all of my others. Now, if you want to do this the easy way, rather than come up here and get another slide and type it and make another button, what you can do is click on this slide over here on the slide menu and then go up to edit and duplicate, or just use Control D. So I've duplicated it, and this one is going to be about the school. I'm going to click on this again, Control D to duplicate. I have a new one. This is going to be my second page, or my first page of my choice, which on mine was teachers. Yours might be different. Click and Control D again. I think for my second one of my choice, I had mini courses. And then click and Control D one last time. And our last one is going to be citations. Now I have the basic outline set up, and I'm going to have some fun connecting all of these together to make the buttons work. So I'm going to start by coming back here to my main splash page, the Awesome Slams app. I'm going to click on the button that I added, and on my menu bar, I want to look for this little link. This is my Insert Link button. When I insert link, I can paste a link in, but one of the cool things that Slides lets us do is we can link it to other slides here in our presentation. So I'm going to open it up, and if I scroll down, here's my main menu. I want this button to take me to the main menu, so I'm going to click Slide to Main Menu. And then it's important to click Apply. And now you can see this one goes to the main menu. On this slide, I'm going to click on my first button. I'm going to click on my link. And just like the first one, I'm going to go to Slides in this presentation. I'm going to scroll down and find my school map. This is why we use the ones with a title, because it tells us what they are when we get here. And Apply. So this one will take me to the map. My next one is About the School, so I'm going to click on the button, click the link, Slides in this presentation, and go to About the School and Apply. And I'm going to keep doing this for each of my buttons. This one is Teachers. This one is Mini Courses. Sometimes you might get to the point where it's really hard to see what's underneath. If you use Control minus, you can sometimes get that to shrink up enough that you can see it. So this is going to be Mini Courses. And then I'm going to click on Citations, and I'm going to do the same thing. My link button. This one's really hard to see. And in this case, what I can do is move this button up higher, go to add my link, and after I click Apply, I can move it back down. And that link stays with it. If you zoomed out and you want to get back to normal, it is Control 0 to go back to the normal size screen. So now I have all of these buttons ready, and I'm going to go to School Map. I only have one button here, which is Main Menu, so I'm going to click on it, click on the link button, Slides in this presentation, and Main Menu. And I'm going to repeat that for each of my slides. Link button, Slides in this presentation, Main Menu, Apply. Go to the next slide, click on your button, link, Slides in this presentation, Main Menu. We're just going to do this till we have all of our slides linked back to the main menu. All right, all of my slides are linked. So now if I present this, I have my app. If I click this button, it should take me to the main menu. I can jump to the school map page and back to the main menu, About the School and back, Teachers and back, Mini Courses and back, Citations and back. And now my app is complete. Our next step, now that we have the skeleton down, will be to begin adding details. And we will do that in our next step.